You know, another issue that we also would like to to speak to has to do with the way and manner some of these people have been taken care of in terms of giving them adequate security, so that it doesn't look like those who have surrendered and turned a new leaf are taken out by the terror group.
Now, quite a number of measures have been put in place right from the very moment they surrendered themselves. After due screening, we had a holding facility, and shortly after that, you know, there is an ongoing de-radicalization program. It is not just an army affair; it is the government's program, and apart from de-radicalizing them, adequate security measures have been put in place along the process of de-radicalizing them. Physical security, and of course, eventual integration into society. And so far, so good. We have not had any breach of that aspect, and we hope it will continue in the same way.
Brigadier General Usman, thank you for speaking with us. We've heard about sponsors of Boko Haram. Now, with this victories and all of that, nobody's saying anything about those who are believed to be sponsoring this group. What's going on there?
Well, I believe is one thing, proving facts is another thing. On our own parts, the Nigerian army, we are determined to carry out our responsibility of, routing out the Boko Haram terrorists and defeating them. Other aspects, there are other organs that carry out such processes, and we leave it at that.
I asked the question because we heard your colleague talk about the arrest of a local government chairman and a vice chairman for harboring or for showing support for Boko Haram. Are there other investigations going on, and is there anything you can tell us about that?
Well, naturally, if anybody, remember before the arrest of this gentleman, there were other arrests, that were carried out of Boko Haram suppliers and collaborators, to the point that some of them were even our own personnel. Remember the syndicate that was involved in cattle rustling, as a means of funding for Boko Haram terrorists. The investigations are ongoing. Those that are subject to military laws, naturally, they are undergoing the processes of military law, eventual court-martial. And those that are civilians, the other component of the society that is in charge of investigation and prosecution will definitely take care of them. And there is an ongoing process now. So.
Now that you've raised the issue
that's rather vague. I mean, when we talk about, it was the military who talked about these people being arrested. The military talked about them being arrested, even though it would seem that we got some clarifications from from officials of the state government that they were asked to, show up at the military base. But it would seem that the story later on turned out that they were being arrested for holding Boko Haram suspects. What precisely is the state of the investigation now? Because we did hear Major General Lucky Irabo saying that there was going to be some investigation taking place.
Yeah, naturally, he is quite right. Right now, the investigation is ongoing. And remember, again, we have the Joint Investigation Center. It does not. It comprises the Nigerian Army and other security agencies. And you cannot precisely speak on behalf of those on behalf of that organ, because it's an ongoing process. At the right time, I can rest assure you, definitely we will let you know.
But there are definitely fears. I mean, if you at that level, you're seeing people who ought to know better and are still harboring these people. What example do you think that they will be showing to those at the bottom?
Well, if you are going to talk about that, in the first place, we shouldn't have had Boko Haram terrorists group at all in Nigerian society, because terrorism, if you look back 20 years ago or thereabout, or even 15 years ago is an alien thing to Nigerian society. So it's normal to have people that are deviant, possibly because of indoctrination or some mischievous intent, or sometimes they do not even know. I cannot speak for them, but honestly, it is really disheartening that you have people that you look up to and you see them doing untoward things. But that is by the way. You give people the benefit of doubt. Look, the good thing is that Nigeria is a society or a country that operates on rule of law. And the judicial process will definitely take care of all those that have been found wanting one way or the other, either aiding and abetting terrorism or other criminal activities when they are caught.
So what is the status right now? We do know that the military talked about Operation Safe Corridor for the people, for the militants who lay down their arms, for the Boko Haram terrorists. I think it's very important that we use the right terms. For the terrorists who lay down their arms, so there's going to be a safe corridor through which you would not be killed. But then, can we say that there is it an amnesty program underway for those people?
Well, it is not as if there is going to be. Right now, Operation Safe Corridor is ongoing, and quite a number of repentant Boko Haram terrorists or suspected Boko Haram terrorists are undergoing the process. I made mention of radicalization, and of course there are experts there, including religious leaders, who counter those indoctrinations on them. And there are other components that also are going on with the issue of the process of rehabilitation and integration into the society. It's an ongoing process, so you cannot judge it. And it is always good to presume the innocence of people, because we are law-abiding, we have code of conduct. So you give them the benefit of doubt, and those experts and those who have been found to have committed grievous offenses against humanity and all the rest, naturally justice must be served. Okay.
There are questions too. I know my colleague is waiting to comment on, but there are questions quickly about, you talked about the civilian JTF, and you also talked about the components of making a bomb. You're asking people to be very alert. Are people aware? Are they more aware of some of the components of these IEDs and how it is that they can begin to detect if things are being amassed, put together for the purpose of making a bomb?
Well, quite a number of things. And unfortunately, it depends on the type of bomb or IED. Sometimes some of these IEDs are made up of routine things that for instance, even fertilizer or nails and host of other sharp objects and the rest of them. So basically, you cannot say precisely that when you see somebody doing that or that. But the long and short of it, for instance, you see somebody buying belts of let's say nails, and for sure he doesn't have the capacity to buy that quantity of nails, and you know him fully well to the point that he is not embarking on any building project. So you start to ask questions. These are the examples that we want to point out to some people. And of course, sometimes you see somebody deep inside night, in the night, and they are moving about when every other normal human being is fast asleep and all the rest. You start to ask question, what is it that he has not been able to do in daytime that he's doing in the night? Or you see somebody when actually it is so hot and his mode of dressing is so awkward to the point that you would think that you are in a winter society kind of. These are some of the things. And I remember some time ago we passed on flyers and a host of other things, how to identify suspected suicide bombers and, of course, potential terrorists and all the rest. In most cases, they are odd.
I'm wondering whether the civilian JTF is being deployed in this, this detection, it was saying, just before the plans are hatched.
Yeah, well, just like I told you, knowledge is power. They have been operating, it is their ground, so they know better than an average person that has been posted as a security personnel or military personnel to know. And they are familiar with the culture. An average person will tell you that, okay, take for instance, in the morning or in the afternoon or during occasions, an average person wears such kind of dress. But you, who is an outsider, you won't understand. To you, it's normal. But somebody who is within that society, you say, no, this occasion is meant for a particular dress. Why should Mr. A or XYZ be dressed differently? So you begin to ask questions. So basically, I'm trying to say this for you to understand the essence of having people who are far familiar with the ground. And there is no way, in any conflict sensitivity program, any security aspect, you have to involve the people. If you don't involve them, definitely you may not succeed the way you should be able to succeed. And basically, that is it.